What is up, everybody? My name is Viola. I'm the host of the Streamer System here on TransenDID. On this channel, we talk about various mental health content, especially DID, LGBT content, vlogs, gaming, spoken word. We do a whole lot of different things here. Now then, today, we're going to be talking about military and political alters, or others, if you want to go by my definition of it. It's essentially the same thing, just a different way of saying it. I prefer others because it sounds better than alters, in case you're new here. And there's a lot of new people here, so hi, nice to meet you. Because I'm at home, fruit punch is on the left. There's no real fruit punch, but please pretend there is. Anyway, sorry about that. I'm just being a little silly, like, I'm having a good day. Anywho. Alright. Military and political alters. So, this is also one political ones. I forgot to mention that one, but I mainly want to focus on the military ones, because I do have something to say about that one, you know, personally. Alters may be soldiers of different ranks, or believe that they are well-known political leaders. These alters are often... What? This grammar's weird. It says these alters are often been created. I'm not even kidding. Like... It actually says it, like, right there. These alters are often created within abusive groups with a particular set of political/military or religious beliefs. These alters are indoctrinated to force them to take on the beliefs of the group. They may have titles of military ranks like generals or names like Hitler. Groups which are known to have carried out ritual abuse using dissociation to create alters include the US government, e.g. MK Ultra, which included many Nazi doctors operating on behalf of the CIA, neo-Nazi groups, and white supremacists, including the Ku Klux Klan. Oof. Okay, that's a lot. So I want to look at something here really quickly, since it kind of caught my attention while I was reading it. Let's see. Often created with an abusive groups. Often created with abusive groups. Not always, but often. Like, that's a really important distinction to make. Usually when I read things, I look at the wording to see if it's going to have any kind of ulterior meaning. And when they say often, they don't mean this is how it always is. This is very often how it starts. However, in situations like my case, it's more, you know, they're there for a different reason. You know, and they weren't created within an abusive group of some kind. You know, it's something like that. They may have titles of military ranks like generals or names like Hitler. See, that really throws me off, that somebody could have an alter named Hitler. Like, and obviously, like, they're not the real thing, but that is a little disconcerting. I know that there's no such thing as a bad alter, but this throws me off, because it's like, there are ones that are misguided because of the way they're created, and this is really scary stuff. So I should probably put a trigger warning at the beginning of this video, because honestly, if I didn't already, I'm gonna have to, like, put it somewhere here. Because this is some dark crap. Like, the thing about MK Ultra and, you know, people operating under the CIA, groups like the neo-Nazis and white supremacists and Ku Klux Klan, and, like, the fact that they force people to create alters is terrifying. For their own needs. Like, that, I didn't even know they realized this was a real thing. I need a minute, like, holy shit. Like, I did this video, I went in like a ball of flame, I was excited, but I'm a little stunned, like, looking at that info. And I'm not blaming the person with the alters, I'm not blaming the alters themselves, the others themselves. See, I guess into saying alter because I read it in the article. My bad. But, I don't blame the others, I don't blame the person with them. I blame the one who did this to them, because technically, when you think about it, it does make some sense. DID is brought on by abuse. It's brought on by trauma. You know, it's brought on things that hurt you. Mentally, physically, or both. And it makes me afraid to think about what did these people do to these people with DID to make this happen. And, you know, I kind of want to delve into my own personal experiences here because this didn't happen to me, obviously. I did have military family members, so that might play a small part in the other in question. But I don't believe that she was created for that. If you've been paying attention to my videos, you know about Sergeant Calhoun at this point. She is a drill sergeant, and she is a persecutor. I kind of came to the revelation during one of my last videos. The one talking about her. Wait, focus. Hey. Thank you. But, I kind of came to that revelation when I realized the way she acts is very much how my other persecutors act. They say hurtful things, but it's because they're trying to help you in their own weird way, and that's how persecutors work. They're not necessarily malicious, though they come across that way. And in the same way that a drill sergeant would not actually hate you, it's not personal. They're trying to build you up stronger, and that's kind of what she does as a persecutor. That being said, this is something different. Like, not in terms of type of alter, but in the way that they're created. You see, mine was created from stress. Like, I was very stressed about that decision. I've said this a few times, but it always bears repeating for those who may not have watched it. But Calhoun was created through stress over making a decision on if I wanted to be a National Guard or not, being slightly pressured by text messages and calls, and feeling very nervous about the decision, as I rightfully should be. It is a very big, life-changing choice that I'm still not sure about. But, she did in fact push me to get better, which is something that is very unique. I was not healthy. I was drinking a ton of soda. I was laying around all day, and my health was terrible. It was not good. Like, notice that I'm actually losing a lot of weight under here, because I used to look like this all the time. But I'm losing weight. I'm feeling good about myself getting out more. I'm doing things that are active, and I'm walking with a purpose. That is something that is military ingrained in people when they go through basic walk with a purpose, which means walk like you have somewhere to be at all times. Walk quickly because you got no time to waste. I went to the store the other day, and that's what I did. It's crazy. Like, I wasn't even mentally thinking okay, walk with a purpose. I just started doing it. And it was really weird and surreal to me that happened. But as I look at this page, it kind of dawned on me just how different my system is. And once again, it made me question my diagnosis. And, that's something that happens very, very often with me, is I do question things. It's not something I can help, and, I usually tell myself, look, you've been to therapy, they diagnosed you with this, don't question it, this is what you have. You switched on camera, you switched in front of your friends and a therapist. I don't think you really need to question this, but I do a lot. It's a habit. Not a good habit, and I'm trying to break it. But, yeah, this is a lot to deal with. I can't imagine how awful this must be for these people. For the people who were basically forced into this through what these people wanted them for. And the fact that the U.S. government, of all people, was involved in this. And apparently that's not even a theory, that's a fact. That's scary. It's scary that they could take someone who either already has the disorder, or they could give you this disorder through abuse and through trauma that you may never get over. It blows my mind how wrong all that is. And it shows just how real this disorder can get. And I may be a happy person, but I can admit when something's fucked up, and that is really messed up to read. just, and I don't support any of these groups that I mentioned. This is wrong on so many ways. Like, hell, I barely support the government we have because of some of the stuff I've seen. This is all a big, big mess. But that's besides the point. I'm not trying to spread any hate or anything. What I want you to know is that regardless on if this happened to you, your trauma is valid. Your DID is valid. Your alters, your others, whatever you want to call them, they're valid to you. You matter. They matter. Your disorder. It all matters. Like, and I know from experience that we may never get over what happened to us, or we might. It depends on the individual. But if you are one of these people who was hurt by this, or hell, I don't know if anyone who was affected by this would watch, but if you are one of these people who was, forced into DID by one of these groups, forced into, being traumatized and so they could have what they wanted, I'm here for you. We're all here for you. Because one thing we don't stand for is any kind of prejudice. We care about you. I know I made you seem like a person on a screen, but I do care. I care for anybody who watches. I care about anybody who comments. I care about people. That's why I do this. And no matter which way my life turns, I'm going to keep making as many DID videos as I can. Because people need them. Reading that really put that in perspective of what I'm doing. Why I'm doing this. Because that stuff happens. We've already touched on, like, abuse and everything in previous videos, but that's a whole nother level. Like, no kidding. I'm surprised I didn't hear about that sooner. Anyway, negative stuff aside, and my rambling aside, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you stopping by. Always do. If you like what we do here, like, comment, subscribe, all that good kind of stuff. It really helps out a lot, especially with this algorithm. It is a must. And as always, you're beautiful, you're valid, and you're important. That is very, very, very important to me and everyone up here. And we'll see you in the next video that I make. So until then, goodbye.